Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the greatest evolution of power, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who eventually becomes the Super Saiyan 4 full power Goku. So Goku, pretty good unit. I managed to pull him and have him at 55%, which is pretty cool. And yeah, super looking forward to trying him out and seeing how good he is. In terms of the leader skill, he's a GT Heroes or full power lead. He is also a 30% lead for pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans, which is pretty good coverage. He raises defense on his 12 key and raises defense for 4 turns on his 18 key. He has key plus 3 attack and defense of 150%, plus an additional key plus 1 per key sphere obtained, plus an additional attack of 70% when performing a super attack, and a high chance of performing a critical hit if it's an ultra super attack. Plus an additional attack of 70% within the same turn, and an additional defense of 70% for 3 turns after receiving or evading an attack, including super attacks. Reduces damage received by 20%, plus an additional defense of 70% and an additional damage reduction of 20% as the first attacker in the turn. So pretty decent stats, 40% damage reduction, obviously after being the first attacker in the turn. The way his buffs calculate out is pretty good. And you get like a maximum defense of 444%, as well as a maximum attack of around 500%, which is pretty good, obviously, when all things are considered. He has Super Saiyan, Shocking Speed, GT, Prepared for Battle, Saiyan Raw, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. He's on Pure Saiyan's Full Power, Transformation, Boost Goku's Family, Kamehameha, All Out Struggle, Giant Air Power, Connected Hope, Total School, Miraculous Awakening, GT Heroes, Bond of Friendship, Accumulated Battle, Entrusted Will, Battle of Fate, Power Beyond, Super Saiyan, Bond of Parent and Child, Earthbred Fighters, and Power of the Wishes. Your standby skill, which can obviously be activated, essentially after, like Goku takes 5 attacks in battle. The big thing with Goku is obviously when he transforms or does his exchange or is active or standby or whatever it's called, he switches with Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Majube. And here he's unable to attack. He has defense of 300%, reduces damage received by 10% per type key sphere obtained, which means you should regularly get around 40%, and guards all attacks with 3 or more type key spheres obtained. He gives all allies key plus 3, defense of 70% for 2 turns, and then he randomly changes 1 key sphere of a certain type to INT key spheres. He also nullifies unarmed super attacks. Now there's 2 effects. There's one if you get the charge of 29 and one if you get the charge of 30. If you get a charge of 29 or less, the battle mode will end. You will recover 30% HP and you'll have key plus 3 for 3 turns. However, if you have 29 or more, you will evolve into the Super Saiyan Full Power Goku. Now the Super Full Power Saiyan 4 Goku is a GT Heroes or Full Power category lead, obviously of the same. But he greatly raises attack for 1 turn and raises his defense for 4 turns, much like the original version of him. But he recovers 77% HP once only, guards all attacks for 1 turn from the start of turn, and performs a critical hit for 3 turns. He has key plus 7, attack and defense of 200%, key plus 2 per rainbow or INT key sphere, and gains an additional key plus 1 per time key sphere. He also gains an additional attack of 150% when performing a super attack, and a great chance of performing a critical hit if it's an ultra super attack. He also has an additional attack of 59% and performs a critical hit when key is 24, and he gets an additional defense of 77% for 5 turns after receiving an attack or obviously evading one. He also reduces damage received by 25% and has an additional defense of 77% and an additional damage reduction of 25% in total. So Goku's pretty good. The big thing is he doesn't need to build up too much. Pretty much you transform him on command from Goku into this super tanky Oob and Master Roshi kind of combo card. And yeah, essentially, to cut a long story short, INT LR Super for Goku is really good. Even like considering just how good all the other units in the game are, I honestly think that Goku's up there. I think Goku is an incredibly good unit and honestly really good at conveying like everything people want in a kit. Damage reduction, built-in crits, high damage, high defense, relatively quick start, And I think he brings all of this together really, really well. He has obviously the standby skill. In his Oob form, we're talking pretty tanky. Obviously, the guard aspect, the damage reduction aspect, and all of this, along with like the defensive support and that, makes it a pretty nice form. Obviously, there's two sides to it, so the big factor is collecting your orbs. So making sure you collect enough orbs, prioritizing having enough orbs, making sure that you can obviously hit the 30 threshold. It's nice that it heals even if you don't manage to fully get Goku to transform, but ideally speaking you want him to transform. There's no reason for you to miss that 30 mark. It's not ostensibly difficult to get, so for me it's almost imperative that you get to that point, because you want him to transform, you need him to transform into that full power Goku. It's such a vast difference in overall strength and performance comparative to the previous forms. And it's not to say the previous forms are bad. Both are obviously exceptional. Oob being a great tank, the baseline SS4 Goku does some pretty nutty stats overall. But I think the big thing is just the transformation gives you that edge. It's the extra stats, it's the extra damage reduction. All of these things make it so powerful. The only big thing to understand here is obviously as first attacker, for having first attacker requirements essentially means that for the very first attack of the fight, you don't actually have that buff active, especially if the opposition attacks before you. You need to wait to attack. So it's similar to a super attack, like on the super attack defensive raise, but it actually occurs a little bit before then. So it is one important thing to note though, as obviously it does to a certain extent affect your ability to assess the situation. But for me, Goku is exceptional. His attack stats are pretty crazy. I mean, when was the last time you saw 55% unit do 16 million, 15 million, 14 million attack stats, as well as also having like crazy defensive stats. We're talking 300k, 400k, 500k, which honestly speaking is pretty high. But for me, I think overall it's like just a unit that excels in pretty much every aspect. I don't have a huge kind of sway towards Goku. I'm not like super duper biased like that, but I do think this Goku is probably one of the best, if not the best unit in the game. I think he's just so good at being able to enable a lot of his teams. I do think GT Heroes does need a bit more upgrades though before we can call it done. But I think Goku's a move in the right direction. I think overall he's an incredible unit. And I think in terms of links, it's pretty obvious. You want to kind of shift towards Super Saiyan, GT prepared for battle, shocking speed. Those are all your key links that will kind of grow as you grow minimally, providing a little bit of attack and defense, but nothing too crazy. He's a super class unit, but he is an SS4 unit, so there are a couple of high quality links to look for, one of them being Saiyan Raw, which is 10% defense, GT, which is 10% defense, shocking speed, which is 5%, prepared for battle, 5%. So you're looking there, you can give him quite a fair chunk of defensive ability. It's just that I don't think you need to cater to him that much. I think he's just strong enough as is defensively overall. And I think personally he's probably one of the better units in the game, if not top 5. I do like him, and the ease at which he functions is pretty cool. I do think there is value in link leveling him because he's a Super Saiyan 4. Because he's a GT unit, there's 30-40% worth of attack and defense to kind of claw out of him there. So yeah, I think overall he's really, really solid. I think he's a great unit. I think at 55% he's crazy, and I can't imagine what he's like at a rainbow level. We'll obviously make an arrangement to do that video at some point, but yeah, for me, even at 55%, this Goku is probably up there in terms of super impressive units. I just think he's really, really awesome. But yeah, that's essentially going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. In terms of build, you're going to want to build this guy predominantly into additional. He's got a ton of baked in crit at various thresholds, so I think additionals is probably the best kind of build to facilitate with him. But yeah, with that aside, I think that covers pretty much everything. Remember, all Saiyans pretty much have prepared for battle, Super Saiyan, and fierce battle, and that's pretty much a really good starting point. But yeah, that's really it from me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.